How much time do you lose every week doing things that could easily do themselves? Typing meeting notes, cleaning the floor, searching for the remote, adjusting the thermostat. They only take a few minutes each, but together, they steal hours from your life. In this video, you'll discover 20 AI gadgets that automate those everyday tasks and give you more time back. Before we begin, you'll find links to every gadget featured in this video in the description below. If you're interested in any of them, check the links after watching. If you enjoy discovering the latest AI gadgets and future tech, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss our next upload. And let us know in the comments which gadget are you most excited to try. Stay until the end, because the final 3 gadgets are the biggest game changers, and the #1 pick is something most people have never seen before. Now, let's start the countdown with number 20. Number 20. The Amazon Echo Show 21. At around $400, this is Amazon's largest smart display, yet a 21-inch screen built to be the single glance that replaces several separate apps. Family calendar, shopping list, weather, recipe steps while your hands are full of flour. A tap or a word pulls up smart home controls, drops a video call onto the big screen with an auto framing camera, or turns into a full screen photo frame when nobody's asking it anything. Owners report it saves something like 1 to 3 hours a week, mostly by replacing the constant wait, what time is that again, with a screen that's already showing the answer. Number 19 fits in a wallet and quietly does the job most people dread most after a meeting, writing it all up afterward. Number 19. The Plod Note Pro. At around $179, plus an optional subscription for extra transcription minutes, the Note Pro is a recorder the size and thickness of a few stacked credit cards. Press once, and it records a call or an in-person conversation, automatically switching between the two. Afterward, AI transcribes it in over 100 languages, separate speakers, and turns the whole thing into a structured summary with action items already pulled out. The company's own numbers put the time saved at 2 to 5 hours a week, the hours you used to spend writing up what you just said out loud. Number 18 removes one of the most exhausting parts of talking to someone who doesn't share your language: the constant pausing to translate. Number 18. The Time Kettle W4 Pro AI Interpreter Hub. At around $400, this earbud and hub system lets 2 people speak normally in 2 different languages and hear each other translated in real time across 40 languages, with 20 of those working fully offline. No phone held between you like a wall. No breaking eye contact to type. For anyone whose week includes international calls, suppliers, or travel, the estimated time saved is 1 to 4 hours a week time that used to go into re-explaining things, waiting on a translation app to catch up, or just giving up and switching to email. Number 17 is for a much narrower audience, but for that audience, it removes an entire extra step from the creative process. Number 17. The Logitech MX Ink Stylus. Priced between about $130 and $170, the MX Ink is a precision stylus built for MetaQuest headsets, letting you sketch, sculpt, and annotate directly in 3D space instead of translating an idea through a mouse first. Pressure sensitivity and haptic feedback make it feel closer to drawing on paper than clicking through menus. For designers, architects, and 3D artists, that's real-time back fewer rounds of sketch it flat, then rebuild it in 3 dimensions, because the first draft is already spatial. Number 16 replaces a trip to a specialist with something you probably already own: your bathroom floor. Number 16. The Withings Body Scan. At around $500, this is a smart scale that goes far past weight-body composition, segmental muscle and fat analysis, and edgy and nerve activity screening, all from standing on it for under a minute. The app tracks trends over months, flagging changes worth mentioning to a doctor before they become obvious on their own. It won't replace a real physical, but it replaces the smaller, recurring habit of guessing how your body is trending. No appointment, no separate gadget for each metric, just one scale doing the job of several. Number 15 removes the single most avoided chore in most homes, and it does the part you'd normally have to do first. Number 15. The Roborock Saros Z70. This is the most expensive gadget on the list, regularly around $2,600, though frequently found closer to $2,000, and the price buys something genuinely new: a 5-axis robotic arm that spots socks, cables, and clutter on the floor, moves them aside, then circles back to clean underneath. 22,000 pascals of suction and hot water mopping handle the rest. The pre-cleaning step, pick everything up before the robot can even start, is exactly what most robot vacuums have never solved. Robotics' own estimate is 2 to 5 hours saved a week, and that tracks. It's the pickup time and the vacuuming time, both gone at once. Number 14 looks like it does nothing at all, which is exactly the point. Number 14. The Ray-Ban Meta Gen 2 glasses. Starting around $300 and climbing toward $400 depending on lens and frame, these look like ordinary Ray-Bans and function like a phone you never have to take out. A 12-megapixel camera captures photos and video on a voice command. Open ear speakers handle calls and music. Meta AI answers questions about whatever you're actually looking at in real time. The time saved here is scattered across a dozen tiny moments a day rather than one big block. Not unlocking a phone to check a fact, not pulling it out to snap a photo, not breaking a conversation to glance at a screen. None of those moments feel like much alone. Across a week, they add up to real, reclaimed attention. Number 13 tracks your health without ever asking you to check an app. Number 13, the Ringcon Gen 2 Air. At around $200 to $300, this smart ring monitors heart rate variability, blood oxygen, respiratory rate, skin temperature, and sleep continuously, with no daily charging interruption during normal use. Over time, its AI builds a personal baseline and quietly flags anything that drifts from it, often before you'd notice a symptom yourself. Compare that to the alternative: opening a health app, remembering to charge a smartwatch overnight, manually logging how you slept. The Ring removes the checking in step entirely. The data is simply there when you look, which for most people ends up being far less often than expected, because the Ring is quietly doing the watching for them. Number 12 turns hours of shaky, unusable footage into something you'd actually post. Number 12, the DJI Osmo Pocket 3. Around $449, this palm-sized gimbal camera shoots stabilized 4K video with a rotating touchscreen that flips for vertical content and one tap tracking that follows a subject without anyone holding the frame steady. What used to require a separate stabilizer, a monitor, and a fair amount of practice now happens automatically in a device that fits in one hand. The time saved shows up less in the filming and more in the editing that follows. Smooth, well-framed footage needs far less correction, cropping, or stabilizing than a phone held by a moving hand. For creators shooting several times a week, that's a meaningful chunk of post-production time that simply stops being necessary because the raw footage was usable the moment it was captured. Number 11 takes the most repetitive part of streaming or recording and turns it into a single tap. Number 11, the Elgato Stream Deck Neo. At around $99, this compact pad of physical buttons sits next to your keyboard and replaces the repeated hunting through menus that streaming and content creation normally demands: switching scenes, muting a mic, launching an overlay, starting a recording. Each button is programmable, and Elgato's software lets you stack several actions into a single press. It sounds small until you count how many times a day those exact clicks happen. The estimated time saved is 1 to 3 hours a week for creators who stream or record regularly, and that number comes almost entirely from actions that used to take 4 or 5 clicks through nested menus and now take one press of a labeled button, without ever breaking focus on the actual content. Number 10 solves a problem most people just quietly live with: a desk that only works one way. Number 10, the LG Smart Monitor Swing. Priced around $700 and up, this is a monitor mounted on a long articulating arm that lifts, rotates, and repositions itself, turning into a second screen next to a laptop, a shared display for someone standing beside you, or a portrait mode window for reading and scrolling. A built-in smart TV platform means it doubles as a second screen for streaming without another device plugged in. Instead of buying, wiring, and manually adjusting a second monitor, this one arm handles every angle a workday, actually needs laptop side by side, standing demo, or reading mode without unplugging anything or shuffling furniture. That's less setup time at the start of every task, and less rearranging every time the task changes. Number 9 solves the same problem as our earbuds earlier on this list, but for people who'd rather hand someone a device than put something in their ear. Number 9, the Vasco Translator V4. At around $400, this handheld translator supports over 100 languages and comes with free lifetime cellular data built directly into the device, no local SIM card, no roaming charges, no app to open. Point it at a menu, and it translates the photo. Hand it to a stranger, and it translates the conversation, out loud, in both directions. The estimated time saved is 1 to 4 hours a week for people who travel or work internationally, often time that would otherwise go into fumbling with spotty hotel Wi-Fi, re-downloading offline language packs, or simply avoiding conversations that felt like too much friction to start. Number 8 is the sibling of the gadget that opened this list, built for a different spot in the house entirely. Number 8. The Amazon Echo Show 15. At around $300, the Show 15 is the wall-mountable member of the smart display family, smaller and slimmer than the Show 21. Designed to hang flat in a hallway or a kitchen corner where a countertop unit wouldn't fit. It runs the same widget-based dashboard, shared calendars, running to-do lists, recipe steps, and quick smart home control, all visible at a glance without anyone picking up a phone. Households that mount one near the door or the pantry tend to use it as the single spot where what do we need and what's happening today get answered, which quietly removes a dozen small hang-on. Let me check my phone moments spread across the week. Number 7 takes care of the worrying you do about somebody who can't check in with you directly, your pet. Number 7. The Furbo Mini 360. Around $100, with an optional subscription for advanced alerts, this compact pet camera rotates a full 360 degrees to follow your dog or cat around a room, tosses a treat on command, and sends a phone alert the moment it hears barking or notices unusual activity. Two-way audio lets you talk your pet down from across town. The time this saves isn't dramatic on its own, a few minutes here and there spent worrying, checking a doorbell camera out of habit, or cutting a work call short to run home and check. But it's exactly the kind of background anxiety that eats attention all day without ever showing up as a task on a to-do list, and Furbo simply answers the question before you have to ask it. Number 6 removes a task so small, you've probably stopped noticing you're doing it several times a day. Number 6. The Google Nest Learning Thermostat. At around $240 to $280, this thermostat watches how you actually set the temperature over the first week or two, then takes over building its own schedule, adjusting automatically when everyone's out, and factoring in outdoor temperature to heat or cool more efficiently. A companion sensor lets you target the one room that's always too warm or too cold, instead of guessing from the hallway. It's easy to underrate how often a household walks over to a thermostat and nudges it a few degrees. Multiply that across everyone in the house across a week, and it's a small, constant task that simply stops existing once the Nest has learned your patterns, one less thing anyone has to think about, several times a day. Number 5 starts the final stretch of this list, the 5 gadgets people most underestimate, starting with one most viewers have never even heard of. Number 5. The Mudra Link Neural Wristband. At around $199, this wristband reads the electrical signals your nerves send to your fingers and turns small, subtle finger movements into commands: no camera, no controller, no screen to touch. It pairs over Bluetooth with phones, laptops, smart TVs, and AR glasses, letting you scroll a presentation, skip a track, or dismiss a notification with a motion so small the people around you won't even notice you made it. That's a strange thing to put a number on, but think about how often you interrupt whatever you're doing: cooking, presenting, exercising to reach for a phone or a remote for something trivial. The Mudra Link removes the reaching entirely. It isn't really about one specific chore. It's about the dozens of tiny interruptions a screen or a remote creates in an otherwise hands-busy day, quietly folded into a gesture instead. Number 4 doesn't save you time in the traditional sense. It gives some of it back by changing how recovered you are when you spend the rest of it. Number 4. The Apollo Neuro Wearable. At around $349, this is a wristband or ankle band that delivers gentle, rhythmic vibrations engineered to calm your nervous system. Worn during a stressful stretch of the day, while falling asleep, or during focused work. There's no app to babysit and no screen to check you set a mode and let it run in the background of whatever you're already doing. The logic here is a little different from everything else on this list. This isn't about deleting a task from your calendar, it's about the hour you lose afterward to a racing mind, a bad night's sleep, or a stress spiral that makes the next 3 tasks take twice as long. Anything that quietly protects your focus and your sleep is indirectly one of the biggest time savers you can wear you just won't find it logged anywhere as time saved. Number 3 is the cheapest gadget on this entire list, and it just got a very big vote of confidence. Number 3, the Bee Pioneer Edition. At around $50 with no required subscription, Bee is a small wristband that listens throughout your day and turns it into structured summaries, daily recaps, conversation highlights, and the small commitments you made out loud and would otherwise forget by dinner. It's the same category of AI note-taking as the recorder earlier on this list, just wearable, passive, and dramatically cheaper. What makes Bee worth watching right now? Amazon acquired the company behind it, folding a startup Wearable into the same company selling 19 of the other gadgets on this list. That's a strong signal about where this category is headed. Quietly captured memory, becoming a standard feature of far more devices. Not a novelty a handful of startups sell. For $50, it's one of the lowest risk ways to find out whether wearable memory actually changes your week before spending more on something fancier. Number 2 is the most complicated story on this entire list, and it's worth understanding exactly why. Number 2, the Limitless Pendant. Originally priced around $99 to $199, the Limitless Pendant clipped to a shirt or hung on a lanyard and did what Bee and the Plod Recorder both do: recorded conversations, transcribed them, and built a searchable record of your day. It worked well enough and fast enough that Meta bought the company behind it outright at the end of last year. Here's the complication. Meta halted new sales of the pendant the moment the deal closed. Existing owners keep their devices and were moved on to a free unlimited plan. But as of this list, you can't simply buy a new one on Amazon the way you can everything else here. We're including it because the story is the lesson this category moves fast enough that a device can go from breakout hit to acquisition to discontinued in about a year. Meta is reportedly already building what comes after it. Whatever replaces the pendant will almost certainly show up on a list like this one next year. And now, the gadget that closes this list. Not the cheapest, not the most well-known, but the one that replaces a job most people didn't even realize they were quietly doing themselves. Number 1, the Xbox Go Falcon. At around $699, with no subscription required, the Falcon is a standalone 4K camera built entirely around one task: filming your kid's game, your team's match, or your own training session. So a parent or coach never has to choose between watching and recording again. Its onboard AI recognizes players, the ball, and the direction of play across more than 10 sports, framing and following the action on its own, then editing the footage into shareable highlights automatically. Think about what that job used to require a person standing on the sideline the entire game, phone held up, missing half of what actually happened because they were too busy filming it. The Falcon replaces that person entirely and hands back not just the game itself, but the editing hours afterward too. Of everything on this list, it's the clearest example of a gadget that doesn't just save you time, it gives back an experience you'd otherwise have had to skip in order to capture it. 20 gadgets, and not one of them is a total replacement for anything. That was never really the point. What they share is something much more useful. Each one removes a small, recurring task from your week and gives you that time back without asking you to completely change how you live. A recorder that writes up your meeting. A robot vacuum that cleans the floor while you're doing something else. A health wearable that keeps an eye on your body in the background. A smart camera that records the game so you can actually enjoy watching it. On their own, they're only saving minutes. But those minutes repeat every day, every week, and every year. And that's where the real value comes from. The smartest way to use this list probably isn't buying all 20 gadgets. It's figuring out where your own time disappears and choosing the 1 or 2 devices that solve your biggest daily frustration. Now we'd love to hear from you. Which gadget would actually earn a permanent spot in your life? Tell us in the comments below. And if you've already used one of these gadgets, let everyone know your experience and how much time it really saved. Your feedback could help someone else make the right decision. If you enjoyed this video and want more countdowns featuring the latest AI gadgets, smart home technology, futuristic inventions, and must-have tech you can actually buy, don't forget to hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you never miss our next upload. It only takes a second, but it helps the channel tremendously and allows us to keep bringing you videos like this every week. You'll find links to every gadget featured in today's video in the description below. Prices change frequently, so be sure to check the latest listings before making a purchase. If you're interested in any of these products, those links are the fastest way to find them. Thank you for watching all the way to the end, We truly appreciate your support, and we'll see you in the next video with even more incredible AI gadgets and future tech.